Welcome back to Free Media. I'm Amber Duke.
And I'm Robby Soave. Well, more problems at CBS over Trump's $20 billion lawsuit. CBS News CEO Wendy McMahon has resigned, citing tensions with the company. Let's watch.
Yeah, CBS is like Harvard. It's like these big law firms. It's like other institutions that are under tremendous pressure from Trump and his administration. Will CBS fight or will CBS fold? Well, the answer has actually been both. We've seen journalists at CBS doing the work every day, every week, put it on the news. We've seen the parent company executives try to fold, try to settle with Trump. We know settlement talks are underway. And this news today about McMahon suddenly resigning suggests that maybe a settlement is imminent. As one CBS correspondent said to me earlier today, it feels like a purge is underway. That's because last month, 60 Minutes boss Bill Owens stepped down, citing a loss of independence. And now today, McMahon also stepping down. Now, there could be perfectly innocent reasons for this, unrelated to political pressure, but the pressure is the big story inside CBS right now. Wendy McMahon had said to colleagues for a number of months that she would not apologize as a part of any settlement. You'll recall that ABC did apologize to Trump when they settled a lawsuit Trump had filed back in December. McMahon and Owens said they would not apologize. McMahon said, "That's a red line I will not cross." That's what she told people internally. Today, she's stepping down, which maybe indicates that a settlement is imminent. Of course, CBS's parent company, Paramount Global, they're trying to get a merger approved by the Trump administration. So this has all the appearances of a payoff by the parent company to get Trump administration approval.
So, more of this tension in mainstream media with, it seems like, the leaders of companies wanting to make nice-ish with Trump and the TV personalities involved not wanting to do that. And look, I'm not a big fan of going after the media by suing them or investigating them or doing things like that. I think in the specific case of CBS, the 60 Minutes interview with Kamala Harris was poorly edited and was not well done, and I don't think it should get any awards. I don't think Trump would ultimately win in court a defamation suit. Again, he has the right to sue, just as anyone else does. I don't think it's a good use of his time, and I don't agree with the government pursuing that avenue against the media. But as I always say when we discuss this, it's hypocrisy to be mad about this and only mad about this when so many government officials, Democratic officials, Republican officials, investigate, pester, annoy media companies, spy on private individuals, institutions for political reasons. Sam Altman, who's not some right-wing figure, the tech guy, Sam Altman, made a donation to the Trump inaugural fund, and boom, he gets a letter from Elizabeth Warren accusing him of some kind of illicit campaign contribution, and implying there could be some action based on that. That happens to everyone. There's investigations of all of our tech companies coming from all sides of the political spectrum. So I do not agree with this, to be clear, but it's not. I just don't think it's as novel as the Brian Stelters of the world are making it out to be.
Yeah, I don't think that the Trump administration even expects to win the lawsuit, or Trump himself expects to win the lawsuit. I think this is more about discovery, because their specific claim is that they engaged in election interference by distorting the news. And so if you're able to show the public that the editors of the clip were perhaps intentionally manipulating Kamala Harris's answer to make her sound more astute or more aware of the issue that she was talking about, then that's a huge feather in Trump's cap for his claims about media bias.
For his rhetorical claims, but it wouldn't be like election interference. I mean, sometimes the word election interference starts getting used a little loosely from here. Like, they have the right to do that, and then you would have the right to just call them liars or something. Like, we could edit clips up to a point. If you edit a clip in an absolutely dishonest way where you make it seems like someone says a claim that they didn't make, then maybe you could sue them.
Yeah, and the problem is CBS has a broadcast license, so they are subject to stricter rules under the FCC.
Yeah. But I don't like, and again, I'm not saying this is unique to Trump or the Trump world at all, that this is the kind of government intervention you have where you have a scheme where the government can have some input over, who gets licensed. Now, obviously, there has to be some level of regulatory involvement for if there's a finite amount of space in the broadcast sense, depending on what it is. This is why I'm a big fan of everything pivoting to internet commentary, where
that definitely wouldn't be good for you.
Where it can be highly unregulated because there's no need to ration some amount of finite space. And I think commentary has become more freer and more honest and more interesting, and you have a wider variety of perspectives and better conversations taking place in the internet commentary space because it is not as susceptible to government regulation. Thank goodness we don't have net neutrality, things of that nature that I think would have been really bad. But the battles of the mainstream media continue. I will say though, their strategy at the corporate level of capitulating just does seem to me it's not what their personalities want, and is it what their viewers want? Don't the people who are still watching explicitly, like a kind of anti-Trump, maybe it's not implicitly investigate Trump kind of thing, don't they want them to have a little bit of a backbone so they're not delivering the product they want anymore? I
would think so, but
do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with that generally, but I think the problem again is if they go through discovery and there are really damaging things contained within regarding the production of that interview, they're obviously not going to want that to get out, and they have this merger. I think Brian Stelter's actually right that the merger is playing into their decision to potentially settle. Sherry Redstone has made pretty clear that that's what she wants to do for probably those two reasons: avoiding discovery, getting that merger approved by the Trump administration, and the personalities there are free to not like that posture, and they're free to leave the network if they want. But I do think that combined with what we saw at ABC with the George Stephanopoulos comments about calling Trump a rapist, is opening up a lot of the longstanding divisions within mainstream media over how to approach Trump and how to treat him. And although their current audience probably agrees with the personalities, which is we should just keep giving him 95% negative coverage and calling him a threat to democracy, all these other things, that's a very finite audience that they're actually losing because they've been told for the past 10 years that this is the key to defeating Trump, and it hasn't worked. So maybe the executives are trying to think a little bit more smartly about this and say, okay, well, we need to actually bring new viewers into the fold. We have to restore trust in our brand. Maybe the best way to do that is to not pick this fight with Trump anymore.
By the way, I don't remember. Help me if I'm just misremembering. I don't remember a lot of commentary from the mainstream media when Fox News was being sued for defamation.
Oh, no, they loved it.
This was a blow to free speech and the First Amendment and independent media when they got massively sued for a gigantic sum for things that people who came on the network said. Claims that, to be clear, were false and outrageous and insane, but were not made by the people working for the company, but by the people being interviewed on the programs.
And the people working for the company, in a lot of cases, were pushing back on the guests. Like Tucker Carlson made Sidney Powell, frankly, look like a fool on his show, and yet he was cited in the lawsuit as giving air to claims about this company.
Yeah, interesting. Thanks for watching Free Media this week. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll have even more news for you next week. See you then.